sound like the sharpest tool in the shed. That's going to sound terrible, and I'm sure he's going to box my ears for that. But the fact is, he is a thinking man's rider. He's very, very smart with his motorcycle and the way he makes it work for him. Carl Harris, I'm talking about, on the HM Plant Honda racing bike. Wouldn't they love to win this one as well? And it is Harris that cuts across, but it's not. It is Jake Vincent, I think, that's jumped over the nose at Cobb's Corner to start with, Neil. And that's a great start from Jake Vincent, but Carl Harris is, yes, he's there, well placed. Thank you very much.
Carl Harris makes lightning starts and Laverty's up there into second already.
Look at Andrews round the outside
on the Yamaha. Andrews.
Superb stuff. Simon Andrews said, take that, you lot, and wipes their nose around Beckett's steer. We're through Islands now. Carl Harris, well, he won't have to take any boxing as far as... big crash there. That was Simon Andrews down into the bale. Simon Andrews, he extricated himself just to the left there. You saw him get out of the bales. I'll show you how deep he went in, but Simon Andrews is okay. What a disaster. He went about 6 bales deep there. That's about as deep as you're ever going to go. Let's take another look at this, Neil. Talk us through
That's a very fast left going on to the back straight. Just coming out of the Beckett section, unbelievably fast, but safely into the bales. Lots of runoff there. Really unfortunate start.
And they place those bales really spread out apart, so they break your fall instead of it being a solid ball of a bale of hay that you jump into. And superbly there, saving Simon Andrews from any serious injury, and I'm amazed at the speed he went in there. So Carl Harris, one contender out of the frame as far as he's concerned. Carl Harris has just got out of the box, flying. Jay Vincent has got some work to do. Craig Jones is there on bike 18 in third place. Jack Valentine will be watching for him. Jack Valentine and Dorothy Valentine, of course, in pit lane. Husband and wife team. V&M is, well, it was V&M, it's now Valmoto, of course, that run the Triumph setup. And they've dropped Jim Moody this year. Jim Moody, of course, is injured. I know he's watching, I know he's training, and I know he's waiting to come back later in the year. He's suffering from a broken leg and a broken foot on separate limbs. And Jim Moody will be back in Supersport, I'm sure. Craig Jones looking for a way on the inside. Jay Vincent, no good on the brakes in the Beckett's. Oh, dear me, how good is... Look at Craig Jones, one side, other side, any old opportunity. That's superb. He can steer that jet. Obviously, the Triumph really steers well. Big young talent, Craig Jones, and that Triumph Daytona 600 improved greatly from last year. Struggled a little bit with getting off the corner, bottom end torque, and has struggled a lot on braking, especially engine braking. They've got that sorted out with Motec engine management. That bike's working a lot better now. Craig Jones is happy on it. He's got a year on the bike, but he's just such a confident, young, talented rider. I'm smiling at myself because I completely ignored...
Jay Vincent fights back.
Well, Jay Vincent is back, but I've completely ignored Michael Laverty, which I don't know how I could possibly do that. I'm surprised Bernie ain't banging on the door. Monster Mod Michael Laverty. He has had new bits bolted on this motorcycle. The parts have been late coming from Ducati for that bike. They've been really just bolting the bits on as they arrive. It's been really upgraded as every session he's ridden it. Michael Laverty, you can see there, he's having a bit of trouble with Jay Vincent trying to ride around the outside of it, and Craig Jones harassing him as well. But number 4, Michael Laverty, he never really qualifies that well, but he made it through onto the second row in 8th place in the overall grid, and he's learning every single lap he's out on that motorcycle at the minute. That's the Ducati, the latest 749 Ducati that Laverty's on. You can see him tucked in below the bubble there as Craig Jones pops out of the bubble and tries to get up the inside of Jay Vincent on the Paget's Honda. So Michael Laverty in second place, but no doubt about the leader. He's already out your frame. Number 1, he is a defending British Supersport champion. It is, of course, Carl Harris, who has been boxing during the winter because he prefers boxing to going around out in the cold and training out there. Harris, Laverty, Vincent, that's your top 3.
Jones underneath, Jay Vincent there. But Carl Harris, I'm looking forward to this year, because I reckon Carl Harris won last year's championship with a bit of hand. I was really looking forward to this year, just to see him under pressure, because he likes the pressure, and it's just good to see him be pushed that bit harder. But of course, he makes lightning starts, he's taken off at the front, and he's left the battling to these 3 guys here: Michael Laverty, Craig Jones and Jay Vincent.
Carl Harris, he won 6 of the races last year in the Supersports class. He dumped it in the dirt at Brands Hatch, the penultimate round, but really the one that he gave us the most entertainment, I'll call it, in inverted commas, that was Mondello Park. He was on something there that none of us could quite understand what he was up to. He was on the grass, on the white line, everywhere. But 6 wins during the year, comparing with Stuart Easton, who finished second. He only won 3 of the races last year on his Ducati. Stuart Easton, of course, who was on the Monster Mod bike. This year it's Michael Laverty. He there is fighting off the challenge of Craig Jones. And not anymore, he ain't, because Jonesy's gone through, and Laverty's under so much pressure from Jay Vincent. I think Jay Vincent might just have forced him out wide as well, but we'll see if the Paget's Honda is as quick as the Ducati down this straight, because he really needs to be by. That Duke looks pretty fast to me in a straight line.
We could see Craig Jones on the last lap having a bit of a look at that tricky chicane. He went round the outside, and Vincent the last lap couldn't quite Haslam, but this year nailed Laverty down the inside.
Michael Laverty won 2 races last year on the Ducati, on the Ten-Kata V-Trans Honda, I should say. That was the team he's come from. There's Paul Bird. He looks so lovely in profile, doesn't he? So then, Craig Jones. He was actually saying, I expect a lot of stick this year, Ewan, so, well, if you expect it, then I don't want to disappoint you, Birdie. Harris, Jones, Laverty, that's how it was when they crossed the line. Vincent, Crutchlow and Rieber, Perry Rieber there in 6th place on the MSS Discovery Ducati. Discovery and MSS have joined forces this year to give you an upgraded situation from Kawasaki. And the Kawasaki Works contract Perry Rieber is signed to was assigned to the MSS Discovery boys, so quite an interesting concept there. Kawasaki taking this British Supersports Championship very seriously indeed and assigning their works rider to it. So Perry Rieber, Spanish Pete as they like to know him now and again, and he said to me as well that his mother and father will be watching this race back at home, but luckily they don't speak English or Scottish.
Kawasaki struggled a bit last year with the engine power, but they were waiting for a new bike this year, a new bike to be homologated with a different modified cylinder head.
Yeah, while you're on about cylinder heads, Joe Vincent has got ahead of number 4, Michael Laverty. But look at Laverty showing a bit of commitment there, which I'm pleased to see. Laverty really didn't qualify particularly well in the Ten-Kata Honda last year. He had one of the best bikes in the box last year. And this time, well, the 749 is a bit of an unknown quantity, really, as far as we're concerned anyway. But it looks, well, it looks a pretty good package.
With Jay Vincent learning from Craig Jones in that last lap, that's the exact same move that Craig Jones pulled on Laverty into that final left-hand turn.
Mind you, Jay Vincent learning every inch of this Silverstone racetrack. He's never raced here before. In fact, to my knowledge, he's never raced a Supersports bike before either. So Jay Vincent is on a voyage of discovery.
The same for him and his teammate Leon Camier, and when they went out at Donington at that test a couple of weeks ago, Clive Paget put L plates on the bike, but don't look like learners to me. No,
for sure, but it's a shame really the experience of Carl Harris has let him get away at the front, and so far, well, if you weren't with us to see the opening British Super Bike race, of course, it was a Honda whitewash, and Carl Harris at the moment is making the British Super Sport race look pretty simple as well. There he is, way out in front, 3.3 seconds was his lead over the line before. Craig Jones, that triumph and that young man really are going places. It's got to be said that Craig Jones, Jim Moody, his teammate from last year, really did say this young man is showing such great maturity with this motorcycle. It really, he said, it's Craig Jones is making it work as good as it is. And in his 2nd year with Triumph, I mean, I have to say Jack Valentine did very well to sign Craig Jones. Oh, Rieber, 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 as they shout. He's right in there, chucks it underneath Crutchlow. Perry Rieber moves up a place. That puts him in 5th place at the moment. So Perry Rieber moving up on the MSS Discovery Kawasaki. There it is. It's a lovely looking machine, but you're right, Neil, last year just lacked a little something. It's such a competitive class, it only needs to be a little something to make it a mid leaderboard runner, really, doesn't it?
You're dead right there, and although Perry Rieber hasn't got a lot of experience around this international Silverstone circuit, he has raced here before on the GP circuit during World Supersport races.
We are just half a second off the qualifying time of Simon Andrews now, so that is not bad. Superb signs. 1:29.692 was the time set by Simon Andrews for pole, which was a 10th quicker than Jay Vincent in 2nd place. That was in qualifying, and we're not that far off of things at the moment. Still a long way to go in this race, and you can see Jay Vincent just getting better and better and better. He was a great rider at British Championship level back on the 250s, if you remember. He was a good Grand Prix rider, and now he's back in British Championships. He's a very likeable fella, and I've got to say I wish him the best. Clive Paget, of course, the team coordinator for the Paget's Honda team, and Jay Vincent, what a signing for them. There's a lot of experience in that team, and he is a class rider, Vincent, and you can see he's just getting a little bit quicker, a little bit quicker. I have no doubt he will be past Craig Jones soon.
He was a class act, and he won the 250 British Championship in the late 90s. And really had a tumultuous battle with Scott Smart for the whole season, eventually winning the championship.
But only just. Scott Smart was brilliant that year on the 250 as well. Those of you that don't have memories quite as long as mine and Neil's.
Simon Andrews, that was a brilliant pole position, 1:29.692, and that compares to a 1:30.82, which is a lap record from last year with Leon Haslam.
Well, lap records, of course, set in the race on the tyres they use for a race, whereas he did admit to that on the line. If you remember when he spoke to Jonathan, they stuck a sticky one in to do that. Well, they're already under the lap record now as far as race time is concerned. That's when a lap record is set, of course. Harris, Jones, Vincent, Laverty, Rieber, Crutchlow. Of course, Carl Harris won't give a jot about the lap record at the moment because he's so far out in front.
I know, and he's averaging half a second a lap, still in front. He's very comfortable. He's still going half a second a lap quicker
than anybody else. Superb. Lap 7 of 20 then. Carl Harris is your race leader on the HM Plant sponsored Honda. Well, we knew that bike and that bloke were going to be fairly quick in the British Supersports class. We didn't quite expect... Oh, there's Jay Vincent taking a look. I think the camera angle probably just made us all jump out the seat here for a moment. Or maybe Jay's just playing. He'll be just pacing himself nicely. He is, what, 4.5 seconds behind Carl Harris out front. Carl Harris is consistently putting in quicker laps despite the fact he's leading. So I don't think Jay Vincent is on for a win today, possibly, but he's certainly going to be looking to try and pick off Craig Jones on bike 18 there for the second place step on the podium. Jonesy comes to the line now. It will click our monitor here. I'll give you a shout on what the timings are. Harris has just gone through. Almost exactly the same. 4.5 seconds further back is Craig Jones in second place. 0.3 further back is Jason Vincent. Then it is Michael Laverty, newly on the 749 Ducati. Remember, he's had to go from a 4-cylinder bike onto a 2-cylinder bike and learn the style difference that it takes. So Laverty, don't expect that to be his best shot of the year so far. Perry Reba on the Kawasaki in 5th place at the moment. Leon Camier, teammate to where am I going? to Vincent, Jay Vincent, of course. As I ask the questions and get no help from my team person there. Leon Camier, a good opening ride from him in 6th place at the moment. Cal Crutchlow up from the R6 Cup on bike 35 in the 7th place. Vincent and Jonesy, flames coming out the rear end of the Triumph exhaust pipe, and really these two are setting the track on fire. What a great race between them. Not to mention Laverty, and again Laverty is a guy that's learning every lap that they're doing with this new Ducati.
Yeah, Laverty last year on the 4-cylinder Honda, and this year he has to readjust his riding style. He has to get used to that bike, and he's had very little testing. And as you said, they've been waiting on parts coming. But he's sitting in the background there, he's watching Jones and he's watching Vincent, and he's learning, and he's getting a feel for that bike and getting more comfortable.
So maybe Laverty could make a comeback yet. He's certainly not far enough out of the equation to say that he won't make a comeback. Jay Vincent is the man that looks the most comfortable out of these three to me, I have to say, considering it's a brand spanking new motorcycle he's riding.
Triumph's good out here.
It is super. Have you heard it though? Have you stood on pit lane? It almost cuts your throat when it goes by. It's pulling such a load of revs and it sounds so sweet.
Supersport competition has never been as great, both on the track and on street bikes. And Triumph, they have a bike there running with some of the best riders in the world. Very, very impressive. The only Triumph in this race, but it's right there with all the Japanese competition and the Italian competition.
Jonesy backing it in there into Cops was superb. Now they're talking of World Championship. Ian McPherson I saw on pit wall as well, having a good old nose round. Another fellow Scot. We mentioned Jim Moody.
Yeah, Ian McPherson, a world-class rider, almost won the World Championship in 1999 on the Kawasaki. And he's had a few lean years, but unfortunately found himself out of a job. But he's still up for racing. He's still got a lot of racing in him. Still got a lot of fire in his belly, and he would be a brilliant addition to this championship.
So say all of us on that one. Thoroughly nice guy as well. We saw the top 6 go through there. Murphy, Crutchlow, Coates, Adrian Coates up in 9th place. Luke Quidley in 10th place at the moment. They are the names to watch at the minute. But here comes Jay Vincent taking a run through this right-hander. He's very quick through this right-hander. Oh, and I think Jonesy looked then for a split second.
He knows he's under pressure.
He's under tremendous pressure. Just took him out a little bit wide there. Jay Vincent, though, again, just feeling his way here. You saw Carl Harris go through the foreground there. So number 1, Carl Harris, he's over 5 seconds in the lead now. And again, a half a second a lap quicker every lap, Carl Harris, the race leader, against these guys. Bike 18, it's the Triumph of Craig Jones, being followed by 24, Jay Vincent, the new name to British Supersport, but one that we're going to see at the front of every round, I'm sure. Harris made a great start. Thwarted slightly in turn 1 by Jay Vincent for a moment. Took him about 10 yards to sort out that particular situation, and Harris has been on it ever since. And again, Craig Jones backing it in. It could almost be like his namesake, Craig Jones, the stunt artist. He's in there backwards.
We need to keep an eye on Terry Riva. He's taking half a second out of Laverty on that last lap, so if he's doing half a second a lap, he's going to be on these guys and battling for second position within a few laps.
Well, we keep saying about Jay Vincent being a class act, but of course so is Perry Riva, and he's been there, done that. There's Jack Valentine in the middle there. Well, the company he keeps, his wife Dorothy to his right, and of course Mr. Roberts, Eddie Roberts to his left, the Chief Pirelli man here at the moment. Of course, that's worth mentioning as well. Pirelli shod Triumphs.
Definitely. I mean, Dunlop on Vincent's bike, Dunlop on Harris's bike, yep. Pirelli's on the Triumph.
Well, the Pirelli definitely works. It's definitely working on the Triumph because the Triumph is in second place at the moment, but he's under so much pressure. This is where Jay Vincent is great through this session. really rolls in through there, but Craig Jones got him covered at that particular point, at that particular time.
Jay Vincent is sussing.
He is. I think
things out.
Yeah, that was my very next line. Definitely looks like Jay Vincent's sitting there learning.
Yeah.
Does he have enough time to learn? We're only half distance, remember. You've already mentioned Perry Reba, who is now getting the swing of things. Remember that he's not done a lot of miles here either, and this is a new track to Perry Reba. He's never been to Silverstone before as far as this circuit is concerned. So, he's having a look round. The weather conditions that took them this morning's warm-up was whack. The first session they had in qualifying yesterday was not very nice either. And do you realise he's got the screen I brought in for him as well?
That'll make a difference.
I mean, that'll be
it then.
Do you know how much those screens are? Unbelievable. Retail, 144 quid.
I bet they didn't pay that.
I bet they did, because I handed the money over. We had to get it from Corby Kawasaki, and they charged full retail. Thank you, Corby Kawasaki. You get a name check, but it's the dearest screen I've ever bought. Second place, still Craig Jones in on the Triumph with Jay Vincent on the Paget's Honda all over it. Do you know, Jay Vincent has a lovely style, doesn't he? That is a 250cc Grand Prix two-stroke runner's style. Tidy, neat, and good on the brakes, I was about to say.
Whoa.
Thank you very much. We'll have a bit of that then. Does he pull it down? No, he doesn't. He pulls it down too hard. Oh, dear me. Well, just as I opened my mouth.
But Jay Vincent, always used to racing on slick tyres, much more grip from the front. These road-based tyres still have a lot of grip, but
I'll tell you what,
not
though,
quite enough on that.
Michael Laverty will go over and shake his hand a bit later on, because he's been the great benefactor of that. Michael Laverty then, bike 44, the suspension don't look quite right on that bike to me at this moment in time still.
Here comes Reba.
Michael Laverty in second place, you're right. Perry Reba looking to try and get on terms with Craig Jones if he can, and I see no reason why not. The MSS Discovery boy is running superbly well.
Well, Abbey there, that corner where Jay Vincent went down, he hasn't raced here before, and it really caught him out because he was good on the brakes, turned it in, but it's a little bit off camber in the middle, and as he was still on the brakes with the suspension compressed, that's what pushed the front. Here he comes down the inside of Craig Jones, hard on the brakes, did a good out-braking manoeuvre, pushed Jones a little bit wide, which actually would have worked good for him, but he's turning and still in the brakes, and then he loses the front. There he goes, no grip.
Just tucked straight under then, and Jason Vincent, despite showing the promise, and of course I know why he fell. It was my tip for
kiss
the
of death.
race. Yes, kiss of death. Ewan's kiss of death. Sorry, Jason, but a great opening ride from him. That's Michael Laverty on bike 4. It's the Monster Mob 749 Ducati, and he's looking better and better every lap, I've got to say. But then again, he does, doesn't he, Michael Laverty? Once he gets racing, this kid, he really gets down to it. So the Ulsterman looking good in second place. Craig Jones, though, is back where he was. What? I've got to say 10 laps ago really, chasing Laverty around. Jones made the pass on Laverty, and then that little fall from Jason Vincent has given Laverty a second bite at second place. Perry Reba, there he is, in fourth place at the moment. This will be a result if they can get the Kawasaki on the podium in front of a lot of Kawasaki hierarchy here today. Through the left, Harris is already on his way. Still a long way to go in this race yet though, Neil, I've got to say it.
Certainly, it's a good ride for Kieran Murphy in sixth position there. He's on a Honda this year. He's mixed up a couple of last seasons, Super Stock, Super Sport, and he's on a CBR 600 RR Honda this year, but looking really good.
Carl Harris, well, you can see he's been working out in the boxing gym there, can't you really? The size of him behind that screen. Mind you, that is a nice, neat little motorcycle. He does make it work hard as well, doesn't he? Carl Harris wasn't fazed by the fact that he qualified in third place on the grid. He said to me yesterday when I was talking with him, they just got a few minor tweaks to do to the front suspension. It wasn't quite how he liked it, and that was the reason why he ended up in third place. But really, Ian Richards and the crew dialed that motorcycle right back in for Harris. And it comes back to what I said earlier on. When you listen to Carl talk, he's not a particularly great public speaker, but he's an intelligent fella that works his way through each and every problem. Simon Buckmaster there, head of the HM Plant Honda outfit, team manager I should say. I can't work out, there's so many titles to work out there. Neil Tuxworth is above Simon Buckmaster, but I think Simon Buckmaster is charged with the day-to-day running of the team, while Neil Tuxworth obviously sorts out the paperwork.
Carl Harris can read the race, he can read conditions, he can read a racetrack. He just does it naturally. Don't ask him how to explain it, but he just does it, and he's a fantastic rider to watch. He'll be inch perfect every lap. If he backs into a corner, he'll back it in at the same point every lap, and when he's pushed, he just goes faster.
Of course, I've forgotten for a little moment there that Rizla Suzuki, obviously, he had quite an involvement with you and the team back there, didn't he, for a while?
Yeah, I worked with Carl a couple of years ago, and he won He won a GSXR 600, won the British Supersport Championship, his first British Supersport Championship 3 years ago on the Suzuki, and did a brilliant job. And that's when he turned the corner. He stopped looking back, he stopped crashing, started winning, and now he can put a whole season together, no problem.
I asked him about why Supersport again this year and not aspirations to move up to Superbike. He said, I'm in the right place. I can't do the accent, but I will do. He's in the right place. You can see the top Superbike boys doing so well at the moment. He's in the right team for the future, it would seem, at the moment. And Carl Harris, again, an example of him using his loaf.
Well, he says he won't be able to test the Superbike before the end of the season, so that'll be good. And if he can defend his championship, then I'm sure Honda will reward him with a full British Championship Superbike ride.
They do tend to reward their top boys, don't they? So, number 4 then, Michael Laverty, still fending off Craig Jones, but for how long is going to be the question, because Jonesy looks fairly mean and angry to try and grab that second place if he can. But Paul Bird, a flick of the eyelids there because he knew we were watching him. Jonesy, a little bit of a mistake there from the Triumph runner, just got in a bit hot and headed out towards the J. Vincent line, fortunately without the resulting crash. But Craig Jones just a little bit too warm into that corner, Neil.
He certainly was, and he has to watch because Pierre Riba can see him. He's homing in on him. He can't afford to lose too much time. He needs to try and get in the back of Laverty because Riba's going to be in touch very soon. That
graphic brought our attention again to Leon Camier in 5th place, of course, behind Pierre Riba. Leon Camier, the second of the Paget's Honda men, and another youngster making his mark in British Supersport, and that's a great ride from him. He's in front of a lot of good names. So Pierre Riba right there.
This is where Jones is good.
So, Craig Jones, he has the fastest lap on lap 12, 1 minute 30.125. 1 minute 30.125. That is a superb time. Jonesy, I think that's a new lap record, isn't it?
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that at the moment.
Was Leon Haslam 130.8.
Well,
backing in all of it. I thought they had that backing in problem sorted out. You can see maybe engine breaking into cops, the rear end coming round. Maybe
it ain't a problem. Maybe that's how he likes to ride them. Harris, Laverty, Jones, they are your top 3. Pierre Riba menacingly in 4th place. Leon Camier in 5th. Kieran Murphy in 6th place. Good ride from Murphy as well. Good old Murph. Cal Crutchlow, the R6 Cup 2nd place runner last year, is in 7th place at the moment. Adrian Coates is in 8th place. Luke Quigley in 9th. And Tom Sykes in 10th. That's your top 10 at the moment.
Look at these bike markers.
Well, this is going to either work for Jonesy or work against him. Laverty has got to work his way through. And Michael Laverty, still potential not fulfilled in my view, Michael Laverty.
Well, it's taken a second out of Harris's time getting through all these, but this is going to be very, very interesting.
Well, he's through one, and that's put him perfectly. That's a very fast right-hander. Jones is going to have to sweep round the outside of that runner. Oh, and he's going to run round the outside of all of them. Jonesy takes a wide old line. Well, Laverty's a bit more conservative, and it's going to be down to... Oh, Jonesy, that is superb. That is absolutely superb. He is a racer. Craig Jones then has stuffed up Michael Laverty in the middle of it all. Dorothy Valentine is well happy with all of that, but you've got to say, here comes Pierre Riba.
Well, Craig Jones could see his opportunity, and that Triumph Daytona is so flickable. You can see he just flicked through it, no problem, dead confident. Whereas Michael Laverty struggled.
Well, it was confidence, but then again, he was on that bike all last year. They've been working with him exclusively, of course, this year. Jim Moody now on the sidelines while he gets better. And Craig Jones really has used his experience with that motorcycle, and he cut through them, like you said, with confidence. And I think that was the difference. Michael Laverty just hung on for a split second longer to make the passes, and he's ended up in 3rd place at the moment. If he's not careful, Riba's going to be on his case.
Well, Michael Laverty didn't do anything wrong. It looked like he was picking him off nicely, but Craig Jones just got brave.
Jones through Island Corner then. Let's take another look at it. Explain it.
Round Priory, turn into Luffield 1. Laverty down the inside on line, Jones round the outside. Nearly took the front away from Laverty. Fortunately, Laverty didn't go down.
That's where the Ducati looked to me, suspension-wise, to be sitting down and not so happy. He was on that inside line anyway, whereas Jones read it perfectly. He went out wide and then cut across the front of them all. But it did look to me like the Ducati, just suspension-wise, wasn't that settled in that particular turn.
Yeah, it looks like it's low at the back and it understeers. It pushes the front. It's not so nimble through these tighter sections, whereas the Triumph works perfectly.
Jonesy read it absolutely bang on, and it is Craig Jones in 2nd place. He's 4.7 seconds behind Carl Harris. That'll never worry Carl Harris because he's controlling the race at the front. Carl Harris is now half a second slower than the 2nd, 3rd and 4th place men, but that's okay. He's happy enough with that. Still out front, Carl Harris on the HM Plant Honda, the reigning British Supersport champion. There he is, absolutely inch perfect all the way around this racetrack. But it's Craig Jones once again who's given us the performance and the entertainment together, and Triumph Well, last year was their first year. They entered the Supersports class with that brand new Triumph 600, and you've got to say that is a hell of a class to chuck yourself into with a brand new motorcycle. It's got to be a very good bike to compete at this level.
No more. What they did last year was incredible, really, with a brand new bike, a brand new Triumph, and they competed with the best Japanese, and now they're running second to probably the best bike out there with the best rider on it. So very, very impressive. Craig Jones's bike, the rear end there, you can see it backing in and hopping around on the rear, not quite as settled as Laverty's Ducati.
Oh, Paul Young off again. Now, Youngie had a crash this morning in warm-up as well, but he wasn't hurt. He doesn't look hurt there either, but his pride certainly will be. But Youngie's in better shape than he was, of course, last year when he was injured for most of the year from an early crash early in practice. And nice to see Paul Young back in the V-Trans camp. He's riding for Robbie Byrne's V-Trans Honda camp, the Gerrit Ten Carter-Chin camp, and well, not a great start for them.
A lot of the runners in this championship tipped him as one of the favourites because he's won Supersport races before. He's in a very competitive team with a competitive Ten Cati Honda, so a bit of an unfortunate start for Paul.
This man was with them last year. He moved over to Monster Mob and well, finds himself in third place at the moment, while the V-Trans boys are nowhere to be seen. So onwards and upwards for Michael Laverty. There's Ian Richards putting out Carl Harris. Ian Richards himself a good motorcycle racer in his day, as can be said about me and latterly of my co-commentator here. What about it nowadays? How is retirement? You don't seem to be in much of a retirement, I've got to be said. You've been working hard for a living, Mr. Mackenzie.
I did the last Superbike race last year, but of course that's the last one. Never, ever, ever again.
Well, obviously the cameraman was listening to what you had to say.
Lost concentration, but Perry Reaver getting closer still to Laverty on that last lap over the start-finish. 0.7 of a second behind Laverty.
I'll just elaborate on what I was saying about you earlier on, Neil. I know you're kind of embarrassed by it, but prolific is the word really for you. I've never seen a man that's an ex-motorcycle racer work as hard as you do on as many things as you work on over the winter. I don't know how you find the energy. And you're not young anymore, are you? Really?
You would if you had a wife with a high-maintenance lifestyle. Oh, that's it. No tea for me tonight.
Jan's going to be sitting at home sorting you out. There'll be tea for you, but it'll be over your head. Harris still leads. Craig Jones is second. Michael Laverty in third. Perry Reaver still looking like the man who might, but isn't. And Leon Camier in fifth place. Kieran Murphy in sixth place at the moment on bike 98. That's a good ride for Kieran Murphy. He's on the HBC Gold Star Honda. And I spoke to Kieran Murphy the other day. He was at a show with Chris Louis from the Speedway world. Chris Louis up at Ipswich, and Kieran Murphy, well, was trying to challenge us lot to a track day, which is a bit of a worry, really, isn't it? And that's a speedway track day as well as a road race one, Neil. Do you fancy a bit of that?
Well, I'll stay away from that. I knew you were going to say that. No brakes, no chance.
You think I'd be any good at it? No chance either. Craig Jones then with Laverty, with Perry Reaver. This is his first race at the British Supersport level. He knows what the competition is like. He's been discussing it with us all. There's a great sense of humour, Perry Reaver, and really he needs one, because the MSS Discovery Kawasaki team have some wonderful, colourful characters working in there. Nick Morgan, of course, well, he's been the head of MSS for some time, and always amusing, and I wondered how Perry Reaver would cope with that kind of situation. They're a very professional team, but he's having a bigger laugh with them as anybody.
Why is that bike completely sponsorless?
I think they've been down the road this morning, and I think, like everything Kawasaki, and I think we can say everything Kawasaki, that includes the Hawk Kawasaki's and the MSS Discovery Kawasaki's, everything this year is late in coming. The British Supersport, Superbike Championship and Superstock in this case really comes very early in the British season, and I think with most of these machines the stuff's still coming through. Lots of it is new, especially the ZX10, and so many, I mean, that's why I was barrelling off to a shop to pick up some things close to where I live, so that MSS had a screen for one of the bikes this week. It's a strange situation, but walking through pit lane all through the week from Wednesday onwards, all you saw was people bolting new bits in their bikes, from V-Trans as far as the Coxall's bike, Craig Coxall, the Australian Superbike champion that's over here for the first time, all new bits in his bike. The ZX10s of the Hawk Kawasaki bolting new bits in, MSS Discovery bolting new bits in. Ducati of Michael Laverty's bike here, bike number 4. Monster Mob have been belting new bits in all the way through the week. I think it's wrong-footed a lot of team. Things are coming quite late. You can see the way that bike just not quite settled like you would expect a Ducati to be on the racetrack at the minute.
Yeah, Jonesy certainly got out the last corner very well.
Final lap then, Laverty, if he wants to try for it, this is the last chance he gets to. Craig Jones is in second place. Carl Harris has all but won this as they flip-flop through Ireland at the minute. And really, Michael Laverty's got to get this exit absolutely perfectly right if he can. down onto the back straight now. That's where we saw Simon Andrews, the pole sitter, go out on the Piranha Racing motorcycle on the opening lap. He was the pole sitter, but no good here. And really, Jonesy has got to get that corner perfect. He did. The back markers moved out the way. I think it's going to be Craig Jones who finishes in second place. Michael Laverty, though, has pushed him all the way right to the end of this, through the right. Then we're into Luffield, the complex section of Silverstone here. Laverty, really, I would have said the Ducati was just a fraction weaker in the middle of this turn. Having said that, settled quite neatly in the middle of that turn that time round. But the Triumph looks cool for a second place. Is Laverty going to ram it up the inside come the chicane? This is the place to do it if he's going to do it. Down through the right-hander now, into the dead stop bottom gear chicane that is now Woodcote. Nowhere near close enough. Carl Harris is about to cross the line. Where is Carl Harris? There he is. He's wheeling his way round. He was going to do a stand-up wheelie, set it up nicely, and he finishes, what, just must be a... Where are they going through? 2 seconds behind was Jonesy, so the deficit was only 2 points. Of course, Carl Harris was celebrating in pit lane. I'll tell you what, the smoke's seeping into the commentary position here at the moment. Carl Harris, then Craig Jones and Michael Laverty, they will be up on the podium in just a moment. Perry Reba, in his opening British Supersport ride, finishes in a very credible 4th place on the Kawasaki. Leon Camier, literally into the Paget's team this year. That's a great ride from him also. Kieran Murphy in 6th place. Good ride too from him. Kawasaki last year, Honda this year. Cal Crutchlow, a graduate from the R6 Cup last year, finishes 7th on the Honda. And Jay Vincent is credited in 8th place. He remounted, of course, having fallen at Abbey. Adrian Coates gets 9th. Tom Sykes in 10th. What a lot of great names here. Luke Quigley, Jonathan Ray. Luke Quigley, winner of the National Superstock Series, I think, last year as well. Jonathan Ray, Red Bull rookies on the Honda there. Tom Tunstall, Shane Norval, ex-Grand Prix. Lee Jackson, great 250 runner here. And Craig Sproston, just outside of the point set in 16th place. Carl Harrison, 25 points for him. Jonesy on 20, Laverty on 16. That's how it looks after the first round today. Me and